Banksy was born in Bristol around 1974 and began his street art career in the 1990s. Although Banksy was good at drawing freehand, his stencils were recognised throughout Bristol and now the world. His work often engages political themes, capitalism, hypocrisy and greed. His stencils also vary from rats, the royal family, children and many more to make his pieces stand out from other street artists. We have created this documentary to find out Bristol's views on Banksy's work and do they think it is vandalism or art.
My name's Adrian Brown, I work for Bristol City Council and I work in the communications unit.
So how is Banksy's work different to other graffitiists?
I think that's a good question, and I'm not an expert on Banksy, but if you think about it, I suspect it's the quality of the work, the way it's executed, the ability it has to catch a moment or catch a particular feeling or a particular issue very immediately, so it becomes almost like a social record or a bit of social history. Build his own reputation, to use various media, various contacts to build up his reputation and credibility as an artist. And probably the fact that people are willing to pay tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, I don't know, pounds for his work makes it a commodity, if not art.
My name's Rob and I run wearthewall.com, which organises Bristol street art tours. I like Banksy's artwork, I like his attitude, and I think that he has found a way through his artwork of communicating with millions and millions of people by having a commentary and comment in his artwork, which some people don't have. His comment is usually amusing, humorous, it has political comment, social comment, and I think that millions and millions of people across the world recognise and respect his comment and in most cases agree with the social comment that he has to say in his work.
If graffiti is legal, why does Banksy's work still remain within the city?
We've got a responsibility to remove graffiti, definitely if it's on public buildings, although we can take a choice. We have a responsibility to do it, but we have some capacity to take a call on whether to leave it or not. So that's in our camp, providing, as I said, it's not offensive, racist or whatever. We can say to a buildings owner, we're requiring you to remove graffiti, which we will do if that graffiti is sort of in our view not adding to the environment in an area and is not very good. So we can do that. We've not done that in those cases. So people have made a choice to keep it, and in fact get quite annoyed when it's painted over, which it has been on occasion painted over when properties have changed and people have taken a different view and they thought, right, I just want a white wall, I don't want whatever that is. So some of Banksy's work has been lost. Majority is there because the owners of the buildings have decided that it should stay. Where we've encountered it, the most memorable piece of graffiti that I can think of, piece of street art that I can think of that is attributed to Banksy is the well-hung lover at the bottom of Park Street, which appeared overnight, and that is on a building that the council has a long lease on, so we could have painted over it. We took a decision on that particular instance because it was particularly high profile, to ask people in Bristol through the Evening Post and through our website whether we should remove it, paint over it, or whether we should keep it. And the return was to keep it, so we kept it and it's there and you still see people photographing it, so probably the people of Bristol took the right choice on that one.
I didn't know they were getting rid of other people's graffiti. As you say, I've noticed certainly in Stokescroft there is a tolerance, almost a decriminalisation of graffiti and street art, which is very much promoted and accepted in Stoke Scroft because it is such a unique artistic quarter in the city and probably in the country and the world. I am aware that in other parts of the country that Banksy paintings get protected with perspex screens, and in Bristol that hasn't happened because of there being an understanding that Banksy is just one of a number of modern day practicing artists. And I like the fact that Bristol didn't prioritise Banksy over other artists. By doing that, it's saying that all artists are equal, and Banksy pushed his artwork to a point where he got global recognition, but it doesn't mean that he is valued any more or less than other artists in Bristol. And at the last count, John Nation and I, who runs the street art tours with me, we counted there being probably 80 practicing street artists and graffiti writers in Bristol.
We interviewed different members of the public, giving them a range of short, easy questions about their thoughts on Banksy and his work in and around Bristol.
So personally, I hate graffiti, but I think some graffiti can look very artistic. I think if it's done with a reason and a passion, then it's okay. But other graffiti can be extremely intrusive, and I just can't bear the random spraying of bridges and trains and buses. I think it looks stupid. But
I like the graffiti that's sort of you can see has been commissioned, and I think it's near Corn Street. There's ones that change every so often, and but when you see just like rough scribbles around, I don't like that.
I think he has a cause, and he's trying to make a point and a statement. Plus, also the graffiti that the pictures he paints are good. So you can see what he's trying to get across. So we had one on a wall. We live close to Glastonbury, and we had one on a wall in Glastonbury recently, which drew a lot of attention to a particular issue within that town. So I don't have a problem with it. I think he's got a huge following, and more power to his elbow, I would say.
I like the ones that are quite thought-provoking as well, like the one on Gloucester Road that's a teddy bear throwing
the glass one.
The flame at the
Would you class Banksy's work as vandalism or art?
Well, again, I think that depends on whether you own the piece of wall that he sprays it on. I think it's art. I think he's an enigma, the way he keeps himself hidden, so nobody really knows his true identity. You don't know where he's going to pop up. It creates a mystique, so it's good. I don't have a problem with it, but I know other people who do. But for me, I think it's very artistic because it's good. It's he draws well, has a cause and a point to make. So for me, it's okay.
Okay.
I think it's art.
I think it's art.
Yeah.
I think that now Banksy is internationally known, that there are people coming to Bristol who are coming here because Banksy came from here. But I would spin that question on its head and also say that I think that Banksy could only have come from Bristol, because I think in Bristol there's a culture of creativity and independence and pursuing a lifestyle of being independent that is prevalent in Bristol above other parts of the country and world. So by growing up in Bristol, Banksy was given the value system of independence, trying to stick your neck out as far as you can in order to get noticed, and some of the initial values of graffiti and tagging, which were to get yourself recognised and known. If you know that tagging and bombing started in New York in the early 80s, where people were writing their names on subway trains with the knowledge that the trains would travel for hundreds and thousands of miles around the city, therefore allowing that person to break out of the ghetto where they were living with their name being taken all around the city. The pursuance of getting yourself seen and heard is something which Banksy has taken not just to Bristol, he's taken it to an international stage. And I also like the way that he used Bristol as his rehearsal for taking his art to the whole world.
Would you class Banksy's work as vandalism or art?
Definitely art.
Definitely art. So to sum this up, is Banksy's work vandalism or art?
One would have to say that if a city council, because obviously we run the City Museum, if a city council is prepared to have a major exhibition in one of its most important cultural venues, the City Museum, you would have to say that the City Council would recognise it as art. From a personal point of view, I think it is art, but what is art is very much in the eye of the beholder, the eye of the person who looks at it. So I think there is an issue about where the art takes place. I think there's an element of where that art is executed and the eye of the beholder. So summing up, on balance, I would say if it's in the right place, it's art.
After speaking to the people of Bristol, the overall outcome of our results show that Banksy's work is most definitely art, and the people are inspired by Banksy himself and feel that because of his street art, the city is different and unique to others. But what is your thought on Banksy? Vandalism or art?